Welcome back to Tranquilo La Casa with Smoke Bobby Roll. Man, my Yankees are on the brink. Toronto's killing us. Vladdy Jr. is doing a number on us. He's just hitting everything right now. And Aaron Judge for the second consecutive postseason, struggling. I thought this year was going to be a little different because he came in hot, but you know that happens with players sometimes. Um, they just don't perform in the postseason, but you know he's got to do better than that. The only silver lining in this for me is that maybe if they get us out of here in a sweep, that'll be the catalyst to getting the Fuku out of there. And then we could, get some better coaching in there. But other than that, it's not looking good for us. Now, as you can see, this is a 96 Yankees t-shirt. You know what I mean? Like Mariano, Bernie Williams, Paul O'Neill, Derek Jeter, those guys. So if it was those guys, I wouldn't be nervous at all. I'd be like, all right, you know what I'm saying? Like, we about to get it done. But this group in particular has yet to live up to that type of standard of Yankee playoffs. So we'll see. It's not over till the fat lady sings. So we'll see what happens with that. Yeah. Yeah. Number one offense in the league. We back to 500. You know what I'm saying? Dak Prescott is playing MVP football. What do y'all got to say now? Man, there was a lot of talk about my Cowboys earlier in the year from everyone. How, the Cowboys sting, da-da-da-da, this and that and the other. We just won a game this past weekend with 4 out of the 5 offensive linemen out. CeeDee Lamb out. Trayvon Diggs coming back from ACL surgery. Deron Bland, I think, is his second week back from some kind of foot issue. For the first 4 weeks of the season, we were playing with the top 3 guys, out of the top 5 guys in the depth chart, 4 were out at cornerback. And we was getting hibachied out there by wide receivers. But now, slowly the defense is improving. Cowboys is 2-2-1. When Green Bay came into town, they was one of the top ranked defenses in the league. So I don't want to hear nothing about, it was against the Jets. We only played the Jets once. We haven't played the Jets 5 times, all right? So pump your brakes on that, all right? Pump your brakes. And I'll tell you what, our defense is only going to keep getting better because a bunch of guys are injured and are going to be coming back. Once Deron Bland, gets in season shape and Trayvon Diggs and those guys start playing at a high level, that's going to take our secondary, make it even better. And then we got that rookie Siobhan Ravel. He's due back at some point. He's a guy that they got, I believe, in the 3rd or 4th round, but he had a 1st round grade. It's a lot of upside on that side. And then on offense, man, our running game is on point. Javonte Williams is killing, running old school football. Punishing guys, to finish off runs. Dak is playing MVP ball. Receivers are stepping up. Flournoy, a guy from last year, I think it was from last year's draft, or maybe this year's draft, I'm not sure, but stepped up big time with CD being out, and George Pickens has been very consistent all year long, being a TD a big red zone target and making big plays for the Cowboys. Ferguson, second in the league in receptions. To this point in the season, he has the most receptions by a tight end ever in the history of the National Football League. So, I don't want to hear all the Cowboy, hey, all them people that which is everyone that speaks about sports, was talking shit about my Cowboys. Like, y'all gonna have to eat some crow, man. because we out here, we making it happen. This was supposed to be a down year for us, and nobody, even I, didn't expect our offense to be this good. I got to give credit where credit is due is with Coach Schottenheimer. He got our offense out there rocking and rolling. Dak looks like he finally took that step to that next level step. And I feel good about it. See, I don't know about us being a Super Bowl contender or anything like that. I wouldn't say that at this point. But I'm really happy with what I'm seeing. And with 2 first-round picks that we picked up this year, I think our future looks bright. We are pretty good at drafting. Jerry Jones has been pretty good at drafting good players, especially linemen, and star players at that. So I feel good about what we're doing out there. Really, really good. I feel so good that I might have to let it out one time. How about them Cowboys? LeBron has got some kind of announcement coming up. He did say that. I saw that he's got the Decision 2 coming out tonight at midnight. But I'm not sure if he remembers that Decision 1 didn't go that well. So I'm not sure why we would have a Decision 2. The only thing I could imagine that he's going to say is that he's going to retire, which would be music to my ears. And this is, no hate on LeBron. I'm a lifelong Laker fan. But I haven't particularly enjoyed his stint on the Lakers. So I'm kind of happy to get that chapter of the Lakers over and done with, and we can move on with Luka as the face of the franchise and see where that takes us. But other than him announcing that his retirement, I don't really see what could he possibly have to say that he's going to play another season or 2 more years. Like, at this point, who really cares, man? Like, it's almost like, and this is funny, and I'm the right person to speak on this because I'm also a Cowboys fan. It's almost like LeBron has become the Jerry Jones of the NBA, in the sense that he always wants to control the media headline and always wants to stay on the headline, even at times that maybe he's not being talked about as much. Like the Lakers are not necessarily looked as a title contender per se coming into the season. We'd have to see what it looks like. So it's like he always finds a way to interject himself into the conversation. But having said that, I'll give LeBron his flowers, okay? The King, his flowers. I actually like that nickname for LeBron, the King, because like a king, he was anointed, before he ever set foot in the league. And like a good king, he did some great things. One brought a title to his hometown of Cleveland, which is an unbelievable accomplishment for me. That is the most impressive thing as far as championship-wise that he has done in the league, is bringing a title to Cleveland. Obviously, he's the all-time leading scorer. He's been a good player for a long, long time in this league, and he should be commended for that. He's a generational talent that will go down as one of the top 10 players to ever play this game. And I'm looking forward to hearing if it is retirement. I'm looking forward to hearing that, selfishly, because I want to see some new blood in the league, some new superstars, which we already have a bunch. And we've reached the point of LeBron's career that it's like, all right, dude, we're playing the same soap opera every summer. I need more help. I need this. I need that, and the other. To the point that it's kind of taken away from us just, appreciating how great a player LeBron has been. And I have this debate all the time with people. And I think I identified it in my mind what the problem is. He tried to get into the GOAT conversation, right? And he kind of forced his way there. These are conversations that need to happen organically amongst observers of the games, of fans, media people, certain media people, not everyone. that'll be like, all right, these people are who we think are the greatest of all time. This is not something that a player should be saying about himself. And that's why I think a lot of people, that's kind of backfired on him. I know people in this team are always trying to push that narrative, but people in the streets, fans, like, we're not jacking him, man. It's MJ all day. Kobe second. I mean, for me personally, LeBron is, and I know, people are going to say I'm hating or whatever, but he's probably like sixth. I could think of at least 5 guys that I would take before LeBron. MJ, Kobe, Larry Bird, Magic, Tim Duncan. I would definitely take that 5. And I'm not talking about championship-wise. I'm talking about the skill set and impact on the team. I would take those guys over LeBron. And this is not to take anything away from LeBron. LeBron is a great player that does a lot of things really, really well, but none of them great. If you say his greatest attribute is how great a passer he is, was the assist leader one time of his career, I believe. If you say his greatest attribute is scoring, although he is the all-time leading scorer because of how long he's played and being a good scorer, he's only won one scoring title, I believe, in his 23 years or 24 years, whatever, however long it is. You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, it would be kind of cool if he played for 25 years, like a quarter century. That would be a cool statistic. I think I would support that. Like, if I don't know if this is year 25 or 24 or whatever, but if it is the year 25, that would be a good way to go out. You played a quarter century in the league. That in itself is something to be admired and respected. And I don't know. It's interesting to see what LeBron's legacy is going to be. Is because he's been around for so long that it's almost like that Jay-Z line. Been dying to be a hero, but lived long enough to see myself become the villain. In some ways, that's kind of how LeBron's trajectory has been in the league. But all in all, I think he lived up to all the hype that he came with. When people said he's the chosen one because he was going to be that guy, he did all of that, and he deserves all the credit for that. But that does not mean that you're the GOAT. That does not mean that you surpass Kobe, Michael, Magic, Larry, in my eyes. Now, people could debate that, to the cows come home. I know that there's the school of thinking LeBron is the greatest ever. Not by many. I don't really, to be honest with you, other than people that are not really students of the game, that haven't watched the game for multiple decades, haven't played the game at a high level, that don't have a higher understanding of basketball, X's and O's, and also the history of the game, are the only people that say LeBron is the best ever. And only reason they say that is because they're like, well, he's the best I've ever seen. Well, if you only been watching basketball for 10 years or 5 years, I can see why you would think that. But, his legacy is certainly not going to be that one of the GOAT. But the king, he should run with that. I think he has a great, that's just a great lane to go at and to sort of salvage his image a little bit in the basketball circles, in the sense of he really is the king. He had a 25-year reign. We saw him defeated and, like a great king, come back and regain his throne, go to different cities and win. So that, all of that goes along with kingship, putting all his people on, his friends from high school and all of that. I think that's king, going into an organization, picking coaches and having a say in and the players they sign, all of that is King stuff. So I think if they run with the King stuff, that would be dope. I would kind of, I could fuck with that. I could get behind that. No Diddy, but the GOAT conversation, nah, that ship has sailed a long time ago. A long time ago. Like the only realistic way that I think he could get back in a conversation is in a perfect world, right? It wouldn't even be with the Lakers, because if he gets a chip with the Lakers now, he would have to be like the regular season MVP, the Finals MVP, and all that for him to actually get credit, because he has Luka, you know. But if he were, for some strange reason, he was to end up on the Knicks and they win a chip and he's the Finals MVP and he's like clearly the reason why they win the chip, oh man. Now you have a whole city that's knowledgeable about basketball behind you. That is the only way. It wouldn't change my mind though, but I feel like that would be the only way for him to win people over, would be like, yo, I got to go to the Knicks and win a chip over there. And it's got to be like first try, like Tom Brady on the Bucks type. It's got to be that type of situation. It can't be, oh, I'm gonna get there, I don't have enough. It can't be that same old story. So, you know, we'll see. We'll see what the king has to say tonight when he makes his announcement. Speaking of the Knicks, man, I gotta tell you, I saw the preseason game highlights. I didn't watch the game because it was in Abu Dhabi. It was like a weird time. But I saw the highlights of the game. I've been watching some of their practice tape, some of the stuff that's been coming out. Man, and I feel really good about what I'm seeing from the Knicks. They have a deep roster with Malcolm Brogdon and Jordan Clarkson. It adds two versatile guards that could play the point, play the two. You could even slide them to the three. And it's certainly in today's game where the three man doesn't really post up like that no more. It's more of a 3-and-D guy. You could certainly get away with playing those guys at the small forward for an extended amount of time without really hurting your team. And you combine that with Deuce McBride, now that gives you versatile perimeter defenders and guys that can shoot. And there's going to be a training camp battle, and well, I guess not training camp, preseason battle for another guard spot and wingman between Landry Shamet and Matthew Garrison. And Shamet, of course, was with the Knicks last year, and he had a decent year. He's a good player, could put it on the floor a little bit, good three-point shooter, not the greatest defender, not the greatest finisher at the rim. And Garrison is a sharpshooter, a guy that can really shoot the three ball. He's got some size to him. Maybe is a little bit better defender than Shamet because he's got some more bulk to him, so he could probably be more versatile and guard different types of players. So that's going to be an interesting matchup. And then you got Gershon Yabusele, free agent signing. He's going to be a difference maker, especially when attrition starts to set in and an ankle sprain here, ankle sprain there, you need a big man to step in there and give you some minutes. He's a guy that could give you some good quality minutes. But the guy that has me the most excited, going into the season for the Knicks is Mitchell Robinson. I think if Mitchell Robinson can stay healthy, he could avoid the major injuries that he's seen. I mean, at no fault of his own. They're always like freak injuries. If he could avoid the injury and stay healthy this year for at least 85% of the games, he's going to have a monster year. And that's going to open up Karl Towns to just be free to do whatever. It's sort of going to provide that safety net that he has with Rudy Gobert in there, that he could, focus more of his energy on being a great offensive player and a help defender rather than being the main guy, protecting the rim. I think Mitchell is more better suited for that role. And I think that's going to work out great. With the new offensive concepts that Mike Brown, with pacing and spacing, he's going to bring in, that should really have the Knicks scoring a lot more points than they did last year. And also, Mike Brown is a really good defensive coach, so I don't expect their defense to take a step back in any way, shape, or form. Maybe they even get better because they'll still have sort of that Tibbs blueprint of physical basketball, but also with the new concepts that Coach Brown is going to bring in. So this should be a very interesting year. I think from the standpoint of talking about when the stars are like everything is lined up for you, I think this is the year for the Knicks. There's no telling if Joel Embiid is going to play or how effective he's going to be at all. Paul George is Paul George, so the Sixers are not a contender to me. Too many health things have to go right for them to be a contender. So just by that alone, we got to take them out of the equation. The Pacers lost their main guy, Halliburton, and they lost their center. So they're sort of in a, I don't want to say a rebuild, but I certainly don't expect them to be contenders. The Cavaliers, really good. They're coming into this year. They added Lonzo Ball. We'll see what that looks like on that team. But I don't believe in the Cavaliers team. Their style of play and injuries have really not made them look their best in the playoffs. So I don't know. They have to take another step to me. They look great in the regular season, but in the playoffs, they don't even look like the same team. The Detroit Pistons now that is a team that I'm concerned about. They got a lot of really good young players. Kid Cunningham last year was his really superstar breakout season. I only expect them to be better this year. One of the Thompson brothers is there. Those guys are really versatile. And they got a deep roster with a lot of bigs that are athletic and just really good players. What's the other guard they got? Man, he was out most of last year. I think he tore his knee, but he's back this year. It was a young guard they drafted. So they got some talent over there. Are they ready to make that next step? We'll see. Miami Heat, Tyler Hero is already hurt. So that's all you need to know. The season hadn't even started. He's already hurt. And the next one is the Orlando Magic in the East. They got Desmond Bane in a big trade they made. We'll see how that's going to work out with Banchero and what's the other guy they got over here? And Wagner, Banchero and Wagner, the Wagner brothers. They're a really good team as well, but we'll see if they're ready to take that next step. Boston, no Tatum. I don't know how good Boston is going to be, although you can't really count them out because they got enough guys returning from those championship teams that they should at least remain competitive. But no Kristaps Porzingis, no Al Horford. I don't think they're going anywhere this year. And then my sleeper team in the East, though, I like what they did in the offseason, is the Atlanta Hawks. They have Trae Young. They picked up Kristaps Porzingis. Coach Quinn is a really good coach. So I wouldn't be surprised if they had one of those years like they did a few years ago where they made it all the way to the conference finals, or even maybe a second round or make a playoff run. So I wouldn't be surprised for them. The Milwaukee Bucks, you can never count them out as long as you got Giannis, but I just don't see them doing anything this year with that roster they got. So as far as I'm concerned, this is wide open for the Knicks for this to be their year, for them to really, really go out here and make this thing happen. Karl Towns, Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, everybody signed. Everybody signed for multiple years. Money ain't a thing. So it's time to really get out here and get this thing done. The season tips off soon.